There are moments when the veil between worlds feels thin, and Alexis found herself in one of those moments during meditations. A presence emerged, tall, radiant, and familiar, someone she had known in ways that transcend memory. As she shared with them the visions that had been appearing to her, she realized that what she was about to hear was far bigger than a single lifetime. It was a story of ancient lineage, cosmic struggles, and the awakening of souls. A story that stretched beyond earth, beyond time, and carried the truths that had been waiting to be remembered. Today's story is titled The Expired Contract. I was deep in meditation, sitting in a space that felt both infinite and familiar. Across from me, a tall, radiant being appeared. Someone I knew, though I couldn't always place when or where. Their skin glowed in a deep, luminous blue, and the presence they carried radiated calm and authority. I told them about what I had been seeing. Very tall, regal beings who looked African American, strong and muscular, dressed in formal attire lined with gold. I remembered having spoken with one of them long ago, asking for guidance on something important. It all felt like fragments of a memory resurfacing now with clarity. The being listened quietly and then began to speak, telling a story that stretched far beyond earth, beyond time as I knew it. Long before Earth became what we knew it to be, the galaxy was alive with civilizations. Some lived by freedom, unity, and creation. Others carved dominance, power, and the harvesting of energy. Among the first were beings' essence carried deep codes of power. Ancient DNA templates filled with wisdom, spiritual technology, and memory. I realized that the wisdom, power, and memory of many of these beings lived on in the bloodlines and spiritual heritage of Black people. To those who sought control, they were a threat. Earth was chosen as a stage for a game. Not just a planet, but a board where agreements were made. A treaty was signed, a contract allowing controlling forces limited power here. Souls entered into this game, some knowingly to experience growth, others tricked into binding contracts. This was the beginning of the Earth experiment, where suffering and separation would become tools of control. For centuries, the contract unfolded. Colonization, slavery, systematic oppression. These were not random acts of cruelty, I was told, but the physical expression of the treaty's terms. Black people, in particular, became the focus of this suppression, not because of skin alone, but because of what their bloodlines carried, the memory of who they were before Earth. History was rewritten, pride was forbidden, and unity was destroyed anytime it began to rise. Programming was placed inside and outside communities to ensure that self-hate and division ran deep. But contracts don't last forever. This one was written for 400 years, a cycle of dominance and control. And when that time expired, the balance began to shift. The controllers had lost. Though they did not want the game to end, they fought and still fight to keep it going because the endings meant the collapse of their power. And now, the awakening. One by one, souls are remembering. The grid of humanity is alive, like a vast web of light. When one person comes online, they send ripples through that web. Though those connected to them begin to stir, to question, to awaken. And when those souls activate, they ripple outward as well. This is why awakening feels contagious. It is. It was designed this way. This is why the suppression has been so fierce, because if one remembered, many would. And if many remembered, the entire game would collapse. That is what is happening now. The truth, the being told me, is that this is not simply about black or white, but about species, souls, galactic lineages. What looks like race wars on Earth is really a reflection of a larger cosmic struggle. But at the heart of it, this has always been a game. A game in which the controllers set the rules. Yet, as more awaken, the game changes because the players themselves are reclaiming the power to rewrite the board. And so, the story is shifting. The treaty is over. The contract has expired. The grid is lightening up. And the ripple effect can't be stopped. As I sat with what the being had shared, I realized that this story wasn't just history. It was a call to remember who we are, to reclaim the power that has always been within us, and to rise above the cycles that have tried to contain us. Every time you awaken to your own truth, you send ripples into the world. Every act of courage, every movement or moment of self-love, every choice to see yourself as powerful and whole, it matters. You're not just a single soul on this planet. You are part of a web of light, connected to countless others who are remembering and reclaiming their strength. Let this story remind you the contracts of the past are ending. The cycles of suppression are breaking. The power is no longer in the hands of those who wish to control. It is within you. Take a moment now to feel your own strength, to honor your lineage, and to step fully into your role in this awakening. The grid is lighting up. The ripples are spreading. And there is no limit to what we can create when we remember who we truly are.